Good morning. This is number two. Um, hopefully it's not crappy. We've been staying at home for a couple weeks. We're starting to get news of people we know, people we care about in hospitals. I shared last week that a friend of mine has been sick. She was at Mardi Gras in New Orleans and contracted COVID-19, and she's now recovering, starting to participate in life again. She's got a series of pictures of her houseplants that are coming back to life in a similar way that she's coming back to life, and those are all signs of encouragement. But they are also, all of that is mixed in with those exponential growth graphs that we see scattered around our lives, and what does that mean for us, and what does that mean for our time together, and it really means that we're going to have a lot of time not together. And we can do some things with technology. We can have a Zoom meeting and things like that, but largely those are not the same as getting together in the same place and hearing the same sounds together, and experiencing a moment together. And it's different, and it's challenging, and it's hard. We all have a lot of time. Some of us have a lot of time to ourselves. I saw somebody say that on day 7, the kids and I are now playing a constant game of hide and seek, and sometimes the kids know, and sometimes they don't know that we're playing this game. This time, the invitation to do something disconnected from what we normally do is an invitation to know ourselves. It's not something we generally want to do. I read a poem from a classmate of mine, Christy Walkuski, and she was writing about her experience sitting on her bed looking around at the reality of her bedroom, and unfolded, unwashed sweaters on the floor, and the clutter on her bed, and all of the things that make up our lives, and what she's going to do with them and what she wants to do with them. And we all are living in that reality. So somewhat metaphorically, somewhat literally, I have a couple kids who live that way, and if I weren't married to a wife, I would probably live a lot more like that. She's often frustrated at the places my laundry ends up or doesn't end up, and it just, we have a moment to look at the stuff on the floor, whether it's stuff going on inside, or whether it's the literal stuff on the floor. At my house, we've been working on remodeling the den in our house. The carpet is an interesting color. One of the cats threw up on it, and I went to go get something to clean it up, and I came back and I couldn't find the throw up because it matched the color of the carpet. It was a nice tan and dark brown shag carpet. A couple days ago, I wanted to see what was under it, and I pulled on it, and it disintegrated. So the quality of the room and its surroundings are needing some care. And it's true that we could live with that for a long time. We didn't have to do any work there. But the carpet was rotting. The wallpaper had train station pictures on it that didn't fit with who we are, and there was fake walnut paneling that just grated on me every time I touched it. So it was time to take some effort. We peeled back the wallpaper, and we peeled back the paneling, and we got to take a look at what was there. And it was clear that a professional had installed that drywall, and something we're very thankful for. But it needed some work, and so we put some time in with sanding and mudding. And yesterday we finally got to put some paint on the walls, and we took pictures and it's starting to look like a room again. And that's the invitation for today. The picture on the slide is a quote from Scott Peck, and it's his, I consider it famous, I don't know if anybody else does, his definition of love. Love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely both an intention and an action. Will also implies choice. We do not have to love. We choose to love. And that's where I think as a society we are at in this moment of isolation. We can choose to love it. And as a consequence, and are a part of that process, we choose to love ourselves. We say, I'm going to extend myself to the care of my own spiritual well-being. I'm going to extend myself to my individual care. I'm going to love myself in this moment. Whether it's taking care of something that is long in need of renewal and refreshment, whether it's wading into something that you have tried to avoid wading into for years. We have the time. We're not burdened by, we've had our exterior expectations limited to such that we're not burdened by them. So the sermon is one I preached in 2017. It is a part of the series that I preached from the book The Heart Aroused. The words in blue, if they aren't followed by a name, they are largely David White's words, and with some of my own editorial change. So that for disclaimer, there's a quote from Peter Rollins in here somewhere, and then there are various other pictures and things that you can see. So The Heart Aroused is a book that was written out of an experience of working in the corporate world and understanding and realizing that people needed to get in touch with the reality of who they were. Otherwise, they weren't going to understand their experience, they weren't going to understand their reactions, they weren't going to understand